So I've just come back from a psychologist appointment and I wanted to share this with you for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's completely fine and normal and should be a done thing that people regularly see a therapist. Not not when they've just broken down and are like in desperate straits, but more as a preventative measure. You know, in our society, we don't often get a chance to step back and detach and look what's happening, and particularly don't get a chance to do that with someone that's an expert in helping you to deconstruct and break down what's going on and give you useful and helpful suggestions. This is exactly what a professional, trained, competent therapist will do for you. So for me, we were talking about a variety of different things, and the prime thing that we were talking about for me was overcoming a fear of change and my issues with wanting to keep in control of things. And this primarily showed its head based on my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition. I was afraid of the unknown. I was afraid to risk things. I was afraid to try. I was afraid of failure. So we talked about that, discussed that, as well as a couple of other little things that I have issues with. For example, I'm not the biggest fan of phone calls, as in, for me, it's like the phone rings and it interrupts me from what I'm doing. And that causes me a bit of distress, and it always has. Not sure why. So we talked about that and came up with some coping strategies. Basically, being honest with the person on the other end, saying, hey, you know, you caught me in the middle of something, I'm quite busy, how about we catch up in person, or how about I give you a call back when I'm free? And that way, it does a couple of things. One, I can keep doing what I'm doing so I don't feel interrupted. And two, when I do call the person back, I'm a bit more mentally prepared for it as opposed to being out of the blue. Now, these are obviously my issues and different things that we talked about today, but the reason I'm sharing it with you is that if you haven't spoken to someone like a professional, I highly recommend that you do. And you know, even if you are quote fine, you know, if you don't have a mental illness and you're feeling fine, you'll still have life stress, you'll still have issues, you'll still have things that you need to deconstruct and break down because, you know, life is stressful, life's confusing, we all have hang-ups from our past. A psychologist or a therapist is not someone that is only going to treat like that, you know, the cliche like, oh, I'm insane so I need a therapist. Like, that's just a outdated, ridiculous notion that unfortunately still is pervaded in, you know, some media and some leaders and some people like to project that, but it's not. It's a positive thing that can really help you to just have a little bit more of calm, detached contentment in your life. Personally, I see my therapist about once per month, and that's sort of like a maintenance therapy. It's basically that every month I'll just come back and deconstruct what happened. If I am struggling, if I am going through a bout of depression or anxiety, or you know, something's going on in my life that I'm not feeling quite well, I'll up the sessions to once a week or twice a week, depending on how bad I get. And I just posted a little image on my social media, basically saying, you know, get a good therapist and see them regularly. And I've had a bunch of comments of people saying that they do see them regularly, and you know, some people see them twice per week, some people see them once per month, some people use them as an emergency go-to. The point is that you want to have things in place to help you when you're in a bad place. You want to put those things into place when you're in a good place. So like right now, I'm feeling pretty good mentally. I'm feeling calm. I'm feeling, you know, not anxious. I'm not depressed. I feel pretty fit. You know, life's going well. So right now is the time that I need to plan for the bad times, plan for the mental health down times, because I know that they're going to come, because I know they do with me. So this is the time to do that. If you're in a good place and you know that your mental health is going up and down, plan for it now. You know, and the same thing if you're a carer for someone else, or if you're in a situation, you know, a family situation where someone else has a mental illness and their mental health goes up and down. You personally need to plan for when they're up and when they're down. When they're in a good place, it's easy to believe that it's going to last forever. But if you look back over the past with that person and you see that they get good and they get bad and they get good, they get bad, it's probably a good idea to plan for the bad times when they come back again. This isn't to say you're hoping for them to come back. Obviously, you want your your partner or your kid or your parents or whatever to recover fully. But if you look back over the past and you see that they go up and down, you need to be aware of that. So that means when they're in a good place, talk to them about a management plan. Talk to them about what to do when they go down. Set the doctors up. Set the emergency services up. Set the whatever needs to be done for your specific case. So like, this happens a lot with people with addictions. They'll quit for a while, or they'll stop using as much and they start to come good. But inevitably stress happens in life and they return to their substance. But it's very easy to look at the person because they'll be like, yeah, I'm fine, and you want to believe that they're fine and you want to believe that it's all good. And that's good, keep believing that, but still plan to make sure everything's okay when you're in a good place. One of those things that you can do to plan is to see a therapist, so I can't stress that enough. Now, in terms of finding a therapist, how do you find a good one? Because there are many out there, right? For me personally, I've spent a lot of time with a lot of different therapists, and it's about finding one that is competent, because think about teachers. I'm a high school teacher. Some students love me, some students hate me, right? That's a personality thing. So same thing with therapists. If you find one that's a personality that you clash with, or that you just don't get along with for whatever reason, that's fine. Find a different one. If you go to one and they're giving you suggestions that seem odd, or you don't really trust it, or it just seems like they don't seem like they're that good at their job, that's fine. Some therapists just aren't that good. Move on, find another one. If you're finding that you had a good therapist and you're no longer improving, as in their advice to you just isn't helping anymore, address that with the therapist, and if it's still not helping you anymore, move on and find a new one. Keep pushing, right? Just because someone's an expert, as in they've got the university qualifications, doesn't mean they're going to be an expert that can help you. But what I will say is that if you search long enough, you will find someone that is catered and suitable for you, at least in this moment. So keep searching. The other issue that I know people come up against is cost. In Australia, we're lucky enough to have 10 Medicare supported, so free sessions. You only have to pay the gap, whatever that is. I know it's true in some other countries, but it's completely not true in other countries. So if it's an issue of money, there are many other options that you can go for. There are some free online, text-based or voice-based counseling therapy sessions for free, so you can try that. And if you're not in if you find one that's for whatever residents of the country alone, get yourself a VPN and just pretend you're part of that country. There's ways around these things. There's support groups that you can start talking to. It's obviously not as ideal as a trained professional therapist, but they're out there. Like I said, text-based, sort of messenger-based anonymous therapy is out there. Some countries and some places have support services that you can ring up anonymously, like your Kids Helpline, Beyond Blue, Lifeline, those sort of things. And failing all of that, if you just can't manage to get a professional to talk to for whatever reasons, start writing therapy. So get a pen, get a paper, and just write down how you're feeling and just express yourself to the paper. Just start writing. Obviously you don't get the feedback, obviously you don't get the advice, and it's more you just expressing yourself, but it's better than nothing. So like I said, I just want to emphasize to you guys, seeing a therapist is fine, and it shouldn't have any stigma attached to it. It should just come up with the same weight as, oh, I'm just going to the doctor, oh, I'm just seeing the physio, oh, I'm just going to my psychologist. It should just be like that. That's how I attempt to approach it, and that's why I'm sharing videos like this, because I want to make sure that other people have that same confidence and comfortableness to go and see a therapist themselves. On the topic of reducing mental health, the stigma around mental illness and that sort of stuff, if you like this video, please share it, please like and please subscribe. But not only this, but start sharing and talking about mental health in general. Why? Well, basically what that does is two things. One, it gets the communication going and it gets people talking and out there and just doing it. But the second thing is that you're saying to the world that you're someone that's safe and comfortable to talk to about mental health concerns. That basically means that people will come to you and feel comfortable opening up to you, at least as an initial base of support, if something's going on in their lives. And from there, you can either help them if you feel comfortable, or, you know, suggest that they seek therapy or counseling or read a book, or just, you know, just lend an ear to them. There's a lot of options available. But by sharing and talking openly and honestly about mental health, it'll help to reduce the stigma, and everyone will, you know, improve because of that. So please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.